the problem here, could you just outline for us just what is the real nub of the problem here that's facing your constituents in this transport bottleneck situation?
Look, Canning Vale, Southern River, Huntingdale area, there's only two ways out towards the city, and one is this area here, Nicholson Road, Roundabout, Garden Street, Yale Street area, and the other one is Ranford Road. And this area here, it just chokes up in the mornings and in the evenings to the fact that sometimes it can take you over half an hour to get through this roundabout. And that obviously causes a lot of frustration. I've had Minister Buswell out here to have a look at the situation, and Main Roads have done a study including a helicopter survey of traffic in peak hour time, and they've come up with a solution which includes a traffic queue sensor here in Garden Street, which would trigger a traffic light in Yale Road. That would allow Garden Street to clear, and they're also proposing a slip road from next to the police station here to run around to the railway line, so that one lane of traffic won't even have to enter the roundabout itself, and likewise that people coming over the railway line towards Yale Road will actually be able to have a slip road straight into Yale Road, and again that they will not actually need to enter the roundabout. And Main Roads engineers believe that will alleviate the problem to a very great extent, and there is also work being done which has already been funded and scheduled to commence pretty much immediately the Nicholson Road, Bannister Road intersection, so that should improve the traffic flow quite significantly.
Obviously, Canning Vale is the suburb most affected in Tangney as far as the intersections are concerned. As Peter has mentioned, it's this intersection here plus Ranford Road, which are the only two main access points to Canning Vale. Once you're in Canning Vale, you can travel around easily enough. It's actually getting access, which is a huge problem, both in and out. And obviously, alleviating a traffic problem here will be a significant benefit to the residents of Tangney.
The situation is, because it's a local government road, it's the local council, the City of Gosnells, needs to put a formal request in. I've met with the new Mayor of Gosnells and the CEO just the other day, and they want this as a very high priority. And they'll certainly be putting in black spot funding for support from the state government, and I'm also hoping that the federal government will be able to contribute to this, because it's a multi-million-dollar project, and it's really beyond the scope of the City of Gosnells to fund from ratepayers' funds.
Yeah, well, this is typical of an infrastructure potentially project that we can fix. It's on the border of the three federal electorates, and this is, I guess, an example of what Tony Abbott has talked about in the past, actually putting money into infrastructure that actually affects people in their day-to-day lives, and it's just not a pink bat or a school hall, but actually affects the people, how they get to work, how they get home at nights. And this is, I'm sure the three of us will talk to Tony and talk to the relevant ministers, and we'll go forward and say that this is a vital project that will actually affect people on their day-to-day lives. And I think it's important that the three of us unite together, because it's on the border of all our electorates, and make sure that we make strong representation for funding at the next elections for a project like this.
Look, we'll be following up with Minister Albanese. One of the challenges we have in this is that funding commitments have already been made in advance. This has been a pressure point for some time during my campaigning. Residents in this area raised it as an issue of safety. They also expressed concerns that there are growing population in this region. Southern River at the bottom end has got further housing development that will take and bring more people onto the roads, and we've got further expansion on this side. One of the challenges we also have is I'm now aware that the number of trains coming through on that crossing down behind us is going to increase as iron ore is also shipped down to Fremantle. If you sit here when there's a train, then there is a challenge in the way the traffic builds, that movement, people become agitated, and there is a safety factor in terms of the way traffic merges here. We only have to look behind us to see that there is cars sitting in the middle of that roundabout. It is blocking traffic. This will get much worse the moment the train comes through. So it's a major challenge, and certainly the three of us will be advocating very strongly with the Federal Minister for funding for this intersection. Look, I think the suggestions that have come from the state are worthy of consideration, but I think there needs to be further long-term planning around probably a flyover on the railway line or a road sunk underneath, because the volume of traffic will become much more considerable over the next 5 to 10 years.
Safety is certainly a major issue. Thankfully there have not been any serious injuries with accidents on this roundabout, but there's plenty of what we call metal skirmishes as people bump into one another in frustration and just taking risks to keep the traffic moving. And one of the key things that Ken mentioned is the need for the railway line to get an overpass. That really is a key issue also in this area, and that could easily be tied in with the development of the Canning Vale railway station, which is planned for the area just here behind the police station. And that improved rail transport would hopefully also reduce the number of vehicles that end up using our roads. So that would also be a big plus if that whole project can, in the next few years, be moved forward.